Welcome to Jerry's journey going solar and choosing the Jackery units as a test uh, to go solar. And welcome to May 28th as I record this. So when it gets uploaded, it'll be a few days later. Unedited, it's just raw. Anyways, funny story to tell you about these units today. We had off and on periods of cloud and sun, I would say about 50%. I came down stairs in the morning and saw that these units were charged up to, or still had a charge of about 11% each. I decided to use the dehumidifier. I figured 60 watts pulled at a time isn't going to drain that too much. The sun is already charging up the units, and sure enough, I plugged in the dehumidifier. That's the green cord all the way to the left, and it went up 60 watts thereabouts. And I went to my office for about an hour, and when I came walking by after an hour, because I had to pass by, these units were down to 1%. 1 hour, 1%. What gives? And I found out, here's the funny part, that a dehumidifier doesn't just do 60 watts. Oh, sure, when it's plugged in and it's blowing some air, cool air or whatever type of air into the room, it operates. In fact, let's go over to it. It operates at 60 watts. But once the unit is actually sucking in the dampness and trying to dehumidify, these things take up 10 times that. It's 600 watts at a time. I didn't know that. And so I was rudely awakened this morning between, well, like I said, that first hour, and got down to 1%. So I decided that I'm going to pull this off, actually turned it off, as it is right now, by the way. And I'll explain why in a moment. Anyways, continuing the summary of the day, I noticed that the sun was really bright this morning, and the units charged up, I would say by 11 o'clock this morning, easily to 22 or more percent. In fact, I am incorrect on that. It actually charged up to 38%. So let's go back over here. Yes, these units charged up to 38%, and I figured, okay, maybe now we can reattach the dehumidifier, and so I did. And the dehumidifier pulled its wattage, and I noticed that the units here were actually recharging at over 4,000 watts. And that's easily handling everything that's plugged in. As a reminder, especially those that don't follow it every day, we have all the way to the right hand side the fish aquarium. The orange cord goes up to the freezer, which has a split cord, and that goes, the other part of that split goes into the family room and runs the family equipment there. The one closer to the green cord, so second from the left, that's the office, and there's at least a laptop or two that it runs off of. And then, of course, the green cord to the dehumidifier, which I either turn it on or turn it off. And so by 10 o'clock, the dehumidifier was running and running and running. And our house on a Thursday gets a whole house vacuum. And part of that split cord that we have here is actually a it splits into three, one to the freezer, and like I said, another goes to the family room. And so off of that, I attached another cord that could follow the entire house. Yeah, another orange cord basically of 100 feet going throughout the entire house. For what? For a vacuum cleaner, which it pulls out 800 watts while it's running. And that's 2 hours worth of vacuuming. And so with the dehumidifier running, we were producing, or I should say sucking out of this, quite a few watts. Between the fish aquarium and the office, these things easily hit 300 watts being pulled out. Freezer and family room, depending on what's running, another 200 watts. And then, like I said, that dehumidifier is 600 watts. And then to add on the vacuum cleaner, which was easily 600, 700, or 800 watts, these things were sucking, everything was sucking out about 2,000 watts. And believe it or not, from 1%, both units, 1%, these things charged up all the way to, last I remember, it was 81% as opposed to 76%. And so almost a full recharge. However, the afternoon got a little more cloudy, and by 5 o'clock, it was really 3/4 clouds, a quarter sunlight to kind of try to feed it a little bit. But these things are down to 46, and what's the big guy? The big guy is at 46 as well. And right now we're still pulling out 400 watts between the office, the freezer, and the aquarium. Again, that's a 20-gallon aquarium with a heater. Heaters and wattage is the big thing for the draw. And once this thing gets below 50%, it's not going to make it through the night on certain things. So that's why I turned the dehumidifier off. It's not going to survive without taking down the rest of the items that are attached here. It's only in about an hour or two, I'm going to see if it goes down below 30%, and that's when I start pulling some other things off. At the bare minimum, I'll leave the aquarium on, but I think the freezer and the family room, which is quiet now, everybody's asleep, I'm not, but they will be, yeah, the freezer would be considered pulled off, but it has to get down below 30% on both of those. Anything above 30% typically survives the whole night, and I can quickly make adjustments in the morning. Yeah, it's even telling me that there's 12 hours that this thing's going to survive. I just needed to survive 8 more hours, and we'll be good. So I'm not going to worry too much about that. But just giving you today's experience with these units, that was an awful lot of wattage being pulled out. And I can't wait till the electrician shows up on Tuesday, because I'll find out if we can, on my potential unemployment, be able to get the electrician to move a couple items over so that we could survive with hot water and AC in the upper level instead of just the lower level. And then we can go back to using that 30 amp cord and really try to save on the electric bill and have these things eventually pay for themselves. But as I already mentioned in a previous video, at the rate that I'm saving, it's going to take 22 years to pay just this much off, let alone getting more units. So that's it for the update for today, May 28th. And we'll just follow the journey, and hopefully this potential unemployment will work itself out, and I can start adding more battery backups, and that is when the excitement of the journey actually would continue, because you add one more battery backup, how often would I actually have to pull off the Jackery, or could I be off grid for a period of time and not worry so much on one rainy day to wipe it out? And that's what happens. One rainy day and these things can't even run the fish aquarium. But that's only because I only have one battery backup. Between the two, that's supposed to give me 10 kilowatts. Each of these units will give me 5 apiece, so that therefore if I could add eventually 4 more of those, this configuration would end up giving us 30 kilowatts. But that's wishful thinking at this point. So again, have a good night and talk to you next time.